Alrighty guys, what's going on? It's Phil here, and it's time to talk AEW Revolution 2025. Of course, we're here to talk about my predictions when it comes down to AEW Revolution 2025 and where I think things can go moving forward as we head into 2025 for AEW after Revolution is all said and done. But before we get right into the thick things, why don't you guys hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and turn on the bell for all notifications. That way you guys never miss another upload right here on the YouTube channel. My AEW Revolution full show review will be out this Tuesday, so stay tuned for that. But without further ado, let's get right into my AEW Revolution 2025 predictions. Up first, let's talk about the AEW Continental Championship matchup between the Continental Champion and Kazuchika Okada taking on the challenger and Brody King. Now, I want to talk about the AEW Continental Championship matchup first between Okada and Brody King because at the end of the day, there really is no story heading into this. So, I mean, there really is no other clear winner other than Okada to retain the AEW Continental Championship. I would absolutely love it if AEW did the thing and actually gave the Continental Championship to Brody King. But the reason why Okada is ultimately going to be retaining the AEW Continental Championship here is because he will be facing another person, which we will be talking about later on in the night for the AEW International Championship, and we will see a combination of those two championships, but more on that down the line. I am going with Okada to retain the AEW Continental Championship. Up next, let's talk about the AEW World Tag Team Championships being on the line as the Hurt Syndicate defend against the Outrunners. Now we all know that the AEW World Tag Team Champions Hurt Syndicate honestly just won these tag team titles not too long ago, and the Outrunners are a very fun tag team, and they absolutely love to entertain the crowd. But when it comes down to this tag team championship match, the tag team titles are going to be retained by the Hurt Syndicate, as the Outrunners will have a great showing against the Hurt Syndicate and Bobby and Shelton, but in the end fall to the Hurt Syndicate and the titles will be retained. This is going to be a very good showcase match for the Outrunners. Like I said earlier, the Outrunners love to have a good time and they love to have the crowd be entertained. But in the end, we are going to see another title retention here at AEW Revolution as the Hurt Syndicate do win those tag team championships and continue their reign as the tag team champions in AEW. So for the Hurt Syndicate are going to retain, and we'll see what the Outrunners are going to be doing after that match is all said and done. Up next, let's talk about the AEW World Championship #1 contenders match between Swerve Strickland and Ricochet. Now, when it comes down to this entire story between Swerve Strickland and Ricochet, the robe was a very much key factor when it came down to this entire situation, and the honor that everybody does have when it comes down to, bestowing that robe that Prince Nana comes out to the ring with each and every single time. And that was a very, very good and key point within this story. And then they turned it into a #1 contender situation when the winner of this match will be the #1 contender for the AEW World Championship. Now, I don't see any of these two winning the AEW World Championship when this is all said and done. But if you really do want to just get things back on track with AEW, you have Swerve Strickland win this match. No way, shape, or form. This is the best situation for Swerve Strickland right now. Get him back into the AEW World Championship picture. You have him be a part of that World Championship picture right here, right now, mainly because when he was the World Champion, AEW was in a better place than it is as of right now in this current state. And this is, no shot to what AEW is doing right now. I understand some things are doing very good right now, and some things are doing very bad right now. And one thing that is doing very bad right now is Jon Moxley and the AEW World Championship run that he is on. But you get Swerve Strickland back into the mix of things when it comes down to the AEW World Championship title picture, and you have something right there and ready in the wings for you and that World Championship down the line, no matter what happens. So you get Swerve Strickland back into that World Championship picture, no ifs, ands, or buts about it, and things will be better for AEW in the long run. So Swerve Strickland needs to pick up the victory in this match against Ricochet, and then whatever Ricochet does after this, I have no idea. I think Ricochet heel run as of right now is really not doing all that great in the first place, so they need to really kind of reshuffle and rethink what Ricochet is going to be doing from here on out. But other than that, Swerve Strickland just needs to be put back into the World Championship picture, and there's no way around it. Up next, I want to talk to you guys about one of the most anticipated matches on this card for me, and that is MJF and Hangman Adam Page. Now, when it comes down to the reason why I think this is probably one of the most anticipated matches on the card for me is because it can literally go either way, and I really would not have a problem with it whatsoever. I think either one of these guys can pick up the victory, and it would make sense. I think when it comes down to this entire story that they have built between MJF and Hangman Adam Page, it's been absolutely one of the, if not the best thing that is going on in AEW right now. And these two are plug and play type guys to where you can literally plug them in any situation and they are going to make your story, whatever you want the story to be, thrive for your company. No way, shape around it. This is an absolutely amazing feud for AEW right now in this current state. Hangman Adam Page and MJF are two of the pillars of this company right now. They are really holding this thing together. And MJF and Hangman Adam Page are doing some of the best stuff in AEW as of right now. I love this version of Hangman Adam Page. MJF is doing absolutely some of the best work that he is doing right now. And you can literally go either way with this match, and I will not have a problem with whoever's the winner going to be. Now, who do I pick as the winner of this match? I am going with MJF. I think MJF does have to pick the victory here so that we can continue on this, because I do not think this is a one and done type thing. I think when you have something like this, when it comes down to Hangman and MJF, you do multi matches when it comes down to this thing, and you give us multiple matches for this feud. You can do this next one at Double or Nothing. You can do it at AEW Dynasty. However many matches you want to do it, you do it with these guys, because these guys absolutely kill it each and every single time. This match is going to be easily one of the best matches of the entire night, and this honestly should be a World Championship type feud for AEW when this is all said and done. And whoever really does come out on top with this feud, you have to have them in the World Championship title picture. No way around it. So I'm picking MJF to pick up the victory in this matchup here at Revolution, and we'll see where things go from there. But this feud is not going to be over once this is all said and done. Up next is talking about the TBS Championship matchup between the champion going in, Mercedes Moné, and the challenger in Momo Watanabe. Alright, let's just not waste any time. It's a no-brainer. It's going to be Mercedes Moné retaining the TBS Championship here. Look, this is going to be a fantastic match. The last time these two faced off in Stardom, it was absolutely incredible when it comes down to Mercedes and Momo. This is going to be a fantastic match. No way, shape around it, but at the end of the day, this is basically a forever type reign for Mercedes as of right now as the TBS champion, and three other champions when it comes down to other promotions, across the world. So she is the belt collector for the ladies right now in AEW, and Mercedes Moné is just nowhere, shape, or form going to be losing the TBS championship to Momo at AEW Revolution. There's just no way around it. So she is going to retain the TBS championship. My only thing when it comes down to this entire situation is that we need to find somebody, and I say need to find somebody to take this championship off of Mercedes Moné. It's time. People are done with the Mercedes Moné TBS championship run when it comes down to this entire situation. People are done with it. And when I say they're done with it, they are absolutely done with it. We need to see a new champion one way or another. It's just got to be done. It's got to be done. And AEW has been teasing a lot lately about another potential challenger for possibly a match at AEW All In between Athena and Mercedes, which is going to be absolutely fantastic when that match ultimately does happen. And I do believe that it will ultimately happen, but in due time, because obviously AEW All In is a few months away from now. So we're going to have to wait for that. But this entire situation right now is very much in a touchy situation when it comes down to this TBS championship, because you kind of can see where AEW is going when it comes down to this forever reign for Mercedes and this TBS championship. And that AEW is basically going to try their hardest to just completely erase what Jade Cargill did with that TBS championship and that over 500-day reign as the TBS champion. I have no idea what the current reign for Mercedes Moné as of right now, which is, of course, the day of Revolution, when I'm making this video. So, I mean, obviously, I'll probably just put that right here or something, however many days she's held it so far. But we are going to see the championship reign continue. And when this championship reign continues, I hope that AEW has something long term for the TBS championship and another feud in place for Mercedes as we get to the next pay per view for Double or Nothing, and then the next one in Dynasty, and something down the line. So we got to figure this out. But either way, we are going to be seeing a title retention for the TBS Championship. Mercedes is going to be walking out as Revolution as still your current TBS champion. So there you go. Up next, let's talk about the steel cage matchup between Will Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher. Now, if you were to ask me, this would be probably one of my most anticipated matches of the entire night. And not only that, but this is going to be a match of the night contender, possibly a match of the year contender when it comes down to all of this, when it is all said and done. This is going to be absolutely tremendous when it comes down to Will Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher. Easily one of the best stories that AEW is telling right now is between these two in Kyle Fletcher and Will Ospreay. The story that they have told has been absolutely tremendous. And I do believe that Mark Davis is going to be making his appearance known when it comes down to this entire situation, mainly because he is part of the Don Callis family along with Kyle Fletcher, and maybe something could be in the works there. But regardless, who do I have winning this match? I got Will Ospreay. I got Will Ospreay picking up the victory here in the steel cage match, mainly because of the fact that this needs to be done after this is all said and done. Because, even though this feud has been great for both Kyle Fletcher and for Will Ospreay, I think if you honestly had Kyle Fletcher pick up the victory here over Will Ospreay, that could be a very, very good sign for what AEW does think of somebody like Kyle Fletcher, who is obviously the future of this business. I mean, the guy is absolutely tremendous at what he does, and people absolutely love what he is doing. But you need to have Will Ospreay pick up the victory here, mainly because of the fact that after this is all said and done for Will Ospreay, what's next? That's the big thing. That's the big key factor when it comes down to this entire situation, because we don't know what is really ultimately going to be next when it comes down to what Will Ospreay is going to be doing for the future after this is all said and done. So you need to have Will Ospreay pick up the victory when this is all said and done. Have him get away from the Don Callis family, because that is ultimately what's important. And you can do whatever you want with the Don Callis family moving forward after that, and you can still continue to push Kyle Fletcher. That is not what I'm saying. I want to see Kyle Fletcher succeed. I want to see Kyle Fletcher do bigger and better things after this, but I also want to see Will Ospreay do bigger and better things after this as well. So, I mean, I want to see championship aspirations for both these guys after this is all said and done. But you guys need to, separate them once and for all. And this has to be the end all be all when it comes down to this rivalry. This has to be the final match of their feud, and separate them for however long you need to, because both these guys should succeed. Both these guys do need to do something after this, and we'll see what that is when this is all said and done. But Will Ospreay is going to be picking up the victory inside that steel cage at Revolution. Up next, let's talk about the AEW International Championship match between Konosuke Takeshita and Kenny Omega. Now, this match is going to be absolutely fantastic, but to me, this is really honestly a very easy match to predict, and it is going to be Kenny Omega walking out of AEW Revolution as the new AEW International Champion. And then the reason why I say this is because when AEW made this whole International Championship series to see who is going to be facing Kenny Omega for the championship at AEW Revolution, when he was ultimately the challenger going in, that just told me right then and there that Kenny Omega is going to be winning the AEW International Championship. Now, they did this entire four-man series to see who is going to be facing Kenny Omega for the title at Revolution, and honestly, the champion had to retain his championship in order to get to the championship match at Revolution. It was just so convoluted and such a mess. But regardless, we have this matchup here, and I do believe that we will be seeing a new international champion when this is all said and done. Konosuke Takeshita is absolutely incredible, and I do not want to say anything bad about Konosuke Takeshita, because that man is my guy. He is absolutely a dog, and he is incredible at what he does. But this is really leading to what is ultimately going to be happening at AEW All In between Okada and Omega. We are going to be seeing an AEW International Championship and an AEW Continental Championship unification match at AEW All In between the champions in Kenny Omega and Kazuchika Okada. I mean, that's just really going to be the thing here. So we are going to be seeing a unification of the AEW International Championship and the AEW Continental Championship to form possibly the AEW Intercontinental Championship when this is all said and done. I don't know. It's probably just going to be, a combination of the two names, and we'll see where things go. Possibly a new championship design when this is all said and done as well. Consolidating the championships, making those two championships into one, basically because at the end of the day, the Continental Championship doesn't mean anything anymore. It's just the right way to go. And, when it comes down to the Continental Classic, people are going to be like, well, what are they going to be fighting for? You can easily have the winner of the Continental Classic get an AEW World Championship opportunity down the line. I mean, that's what it really should have always been from the very word goes. So, you know, I understand why they wanted to make a championship out of it, win a championship for winning that awesome tournament that AEW did bring into the fold for their company. I loved the Continental Classic, but it really just should have been for a shot at the AEW World title down the line, and they did what they did here. So we're going to be consolidating the International Championship and the Continental Championship at All In, and you do that by having the matchup between Kenny Omega and Kazuchika Okada at All In. So Kenny Omega gotta win the AEW International Championship here, and it's gonna happen at Revolution. Up next is talking about the AEW Women's World Championship being on the line. It's the Hollywood ending between Timeless Toni Storm and Mariah May. Now we all know that Timeless Toni Storm just won the AEW Women's World Championship back at AEW Grand Slam Australia, so there really is no way around it at this point. She's going to retain her AEW Women's World Championship against Mariah May here at the final matchup between these guys, which is the Hollywood ending between Toni and Mariah. This feud has been absolutely tremendous ever since the entire thing started. And when we saw Mariah win the AEW World Championship back at All In last year, and we saw the matchup at AEW Grand Slam when Toni won the championship back, this entire story between Mariah and Toni has been easily, I will put my stamp on this as the best thing that AEW has ever done when it comes down to the storytelling within the women's division. It's just time to end it. That's just what it is. I mean, we gotta get the AEW World Championship into something different. We have to have the champion going into this, do better things with the AEW World Championship. And I was honestly very much looking forward to seeing Mariah May as the AEW World Champion. But when she won the championship, AEW just really did not capitalize on what they had in Mariah May, and they didn't really do a good job at, capitalizing on her being the champion when Toni was gone. So they had to give the championship back to Toni. And Toni's basically become and I've said this in the past, and you guys can, roast me in the comments if you want for saying something like this, but I don't care. I think this is honestly the truth. Mariah May, though she was a okay champion for what it was, they gave it back to Toni Storm because Toni Storm is basically the Jon Moxley of the AEW women's division. When things go awry, when things go out of place, you put that championship back on Toni Storm, and you just have Toni Storm run with it because Toni Storm is a very reliable person within the women's division, and she will get the job done, whatever you want to do with her moving forward. So, I mean, it's not really out of the realm of possibility for me saying that because whenever things go awry for this championship or for this division as a whole, they put Toni Storm in the forefront, and that's basically what's been happening since AEW has been around. I mean, she's a four-time AEW Women's World Champion, for God's sake. So, I mean, it's really right there for you, like right in front of your eyes when it comes down to this situation. So, Toni Storm is going to retain the AEW Women's World Championship, and after that, we should be seeing something for Toni moving forward as the AEW Women's World Champion. I just hope AEW has a plan. And that brings us to our final match. This is presumably the main event of AEW Revolution, the AEW World Championship matchup between the champion, Jon Moxley, and the challenger, Inko. Now, this match is very polarizing, and I've seen a lot of different arguments for a lot of different people for both sides of the argument. Do you want to see Jon Moxley retain the AEW World Championship, or do you want to see a new AEW World Champion in Adam Copeland? And I've, like I said, seen different sides to different arguments when it comes down to these two challengers going at it for the belt. Now, the AEW World Championship title picture right now is in very much a mess right now. I mean, Jon Moxley has had a stranglehold with this AEW World Championship ever since he won it from Bryan. And at the end of the day, this is really just kind of something that AEW really does need to figure out. I mean, we will be having a new number one contender when this is all said and done. After this, after this show is said and done, it's either going to be Swerve Strickland or Ricochet that could be the next challenger for Jon Moxley and that AEW World Championship, or AEW can pull Swerve on us and have Adam Copeland win the AEW World Championship. Now, do I see that happening? No, I do not. I do not see Adam Copeland winning the AEW World Championship. I see Jon Moxley walking out of Revolution as the AEW World Champion, because if AEW was going to tell me that we will be seeing a new champion by the end of the night, we would have been seeing that already. We really would have. And, they brought in Jay White with this entire situation. Jay White said that he will be at AEW Revolution to really kind of support Adam Copeland in his efforts of winning the AEW World Championship. And he honestly kind of virtually guaranteed that he will most likely turn on Adam Copeland when this is all said and done, and possibly cost him the AEW World Championship in this main event. So even though the story has been relatively good when it comes down to Adam Copeland's side of things, taking out every single member of the Death Riders to ultimately just get to Jon Moxley one-on-one at the pay-per-view, there's still Jay White in the mix when, we have the situation going on. And Jay White could really cost Adam Copeland the championship. And that's ultimately, most likely, what's going to happen. So we are going to be seeing a title retention, in my honest opinion, of Jon Moxley retaining the championship here. And we'll see where things go. A lot of people think that Adam Copeland could be winning the championship, and that's how we can get this contract that has, Christian Cage's name on it out there cashed in, and possibly we can see Christian Cage walking out as the new AEW World Champion. I do not see that whatsoever. I honestly don't even want to see that happen whatsoever. Maybe because that contract that Christian has absolutely means nothing, and it's just, something that I just honestly can't even stand at this point, because they completely dropped the ball on that contract. So, there's that. But yeah, I just see Jon Moxley retain the AEW World Championship. I do not think that his AEW World Championship run is done by a long shot. I don't even really think he's going to be losing that championship until possibly AEW All In. So, if I had my personal way of going about things, if I had, the book, I would give Hangman Adam Page the championship as soon as possible. And honestly, as soon as possible would probably have to be at AEW All In, because that's just where I see a possible title change happening. I do not see it happening at Double or Nothing. I do not see it happening at Dynasty. I could possibly see it at AEW All In if the challenger is right. But yeah, it's just a matter of, when this championship reign of Jon Moxley ends, not if. Because it's not going to end until we see an actual credible challenger for the championship. I'm not saying that Adam Copeland's not credible, but it's just the way that AEW's been operating right now. That's this AEW World Championship. There's no telling who is going to be the credible challenger to take that title off of Moxley. It's just a matter of how are they going to be doing it. So we'll see in due time, but Moxley's going to retain the championship here at Revolution, and we'll see where things go from there. So that's it, guys. That is your AEW Revolution 2025 predictions. I'm very much looking forward to the show because, when it comes down to AEW Revolution, AEW always kills it when it comes down to Revolution. Revolution is normally one of their best pay-per-views of the entire calendar year when it comes down to not only just the in-ring aspect, but just the overall performance and the overall perspective of AEW Revolution from the very word go of AEW being in existence has been very, very good. And I absolutely love what AEW has in store for this show. I think you have three incredible, amazing matches that could be match of the year candidates when this is all said and done. And ultimately, AEW Revolution 2025 could be one of the best pay per views of the entire year, not just for AEW, but probably in terms of the actual in ring aspect for all year. So it's going to be a very, very good show. If AEW wants to be smart when it comes down to this, you end it off with something huge happening at the end of all of this. You could possibly see a new superstar debut at AEW Revolution, like somebody coming on in and signing with AEW. Josh Alexander is potentially going to be on his way to AEW when this is all said and done, maybe. So we could possibly see a Josh Alexander sighting. I don't know. That could just be me spitballing, and that could just be me, doing a little bit of a side bet. I don't know, but we'll see in due time. We know Mike Bailey is coming on in Speedball. That is so. We'll see when that is ultimately going to be happening. That's probably going to be something with Collision, but I mean, there's a lot of things going on in AEW right now. Whether you are very much a big fan of AEW or whether you are not really much of a fan of AEW right now, AEW is the talk of the town this weekend because Revolution is here and Revolution is tonight. So thank you guys so much for all the love and support that you guys have shown me on this YouTube channel. Like I said, my Revolution review will be out Tuesday, so stay tuned for that. And we will be seeing you guys soon. So thank you guys so much for all the love and support. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and turn on the bell for all notifications so that you guys don't miss that AEW Revolution full show review. So thank you guys so much, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.